For citizens, because the last meeting, Mr. Commissioner Hammercheck, you mentioned, are you coming as a reporter or lobbyist for citizens? So when I'm wearing my hat, I'm acting on behalf of lobbyists for citizens.
That's our bat signal.
Okay. Okay, Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive.
That comes off during the pledge and the prayer, though, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
so absolutely.
Just making sure.
Thank you. Before I start, I want to make it abundantly clear that I'm a supporter of the Lake County Board of Elections, Ross McDonald, Jan Claredale, Fellows, the whole 9 yards. I've spent quite a bit of time trying to help them out. I'm sure at times they probably thought I was, fighting their issues, and that's not the case. But I wanted to mention to the commissioners today something that I did receive just this morning. I haven't had a great deal of time to verify the authenticity of the what was sent to me, but it was a 21-page document, and it's from the American Foundation for Civil Liberties and Freedom, and
what was that name again, sir?
I beg your pardon?
What was that name again?
It's the American Foundation for Civil Liberties and Freedom. If you try to Google them, you won't find it, but if you go on DuckDuckGo, they'll be the first on the first page. Just to let you know. The letter was written by Christopher Marchton, Esquire, Chairman of the Board of the organization. And if I may just give you the highlights of what he's talking about. The purpose of this letter is to offer the services of forensic experts to conduct a forensic audit of your voting machines free of charge. I think you've known that I have expressed some concern about the ability for outsiders to access our machines. I've made that, I think, abundantly clear. Not that I think that anything nefarious goes on. I just, as a spokesperson for the average citizen, we want to make sure we've got free and fair elections. They said that two versions of Michigan voting systems, both Dominion and ESS, have been found to have utilized wireless technology. The ESS model DS200, I think that is the machine that we have purchased. Is that correct? Am I correct in that? The 200?
That would be my recollection. I'm seeing a nod from Jan Claire, so yes.
That is, okay.
That'd be one of the, that'd be a tabulator, I believe.
Okay, so the ESS model DS200 was found to have internal wireless cards that has a private network address that was designed to communicate with ES&S primary host server. The manufacturer of the wireless 4G card used in the ESS DS200 is a company named Telit. Telit is an Internet of Things company that has recently taken major investments from a Chinese investment fund that has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, according to the UK media reporting. Just bear with me. I did read this and did highlight what I thought was the important items regarding ESS. The DS200 machine was found to have a wireless 4G modem installed internally within the enclosures of the machine. So there's also features that are very useful to application programmers, but are also ripe for abuse by unauthorized users of the AP devoted to the ES&S machines. I could go on, but I think it makes the point that.
Did you want to share a copy of that with our clerk at some point?
I certainly will, make that available to the clerk, but I know that, we've already decided to purchase the equipment, but if there are some people that are willing to come in free of charge and do a forensic audit, I'd like to see a forensic audit not only of the new machines, but of the old machines, just so that we can ensure to the taxpayers of Lake County that everything was on the up and up. I'm 99.99% sure it is, but I'm always trying to. I get inquiries from taxpayers all the time. What is going on? And I'm trying to deflect those. But now we have an outside source, if it's legitimate, that is willing to help us do that. So I'll make that.
Commissioner Young also has a comment, if you don't mind.
Thank you. I hear what you're saying, Brian, and I'm interested. At the same time, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole that has no end. I mean, you know how it is. We could hear from folks all over the community, each with a different perspective, each having heard from some organization, each having a close friend or an uncle who's an expert on
I understand.
computers.
Yeah, I understand.
So this could go on forever if I don't know this organization, but these things have been inspected at the state level by recognized experts, at the federal level, now at the local level. They've been utilized, at least looked at carefully. And everybody's come back and said they're great machines, and they've been used all over the state.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're the last county.
Well, Commissioner Young, I'm certainly willing to do the legwork on behalf of the citizens and report back to the commissioners. I'm raising the flag when I see something like this. I'm not making any accusations. I'm just raising the flag to say, pump the brakes just a little bit, give us a little more time to try to ascertain whether or not there's some validity. If I come back, in 2 days to you say, hey, I've checked them out and somebody working out of their basement, I will certainly let you know. If, however, we do the research and we think that it is worthy of additional inspection by the Board of Elections or the commissioners, we would like the opportunity to at least address that with the commissioners. If you're agreeable to that, I would be glad to spend the time on behalf of the Lake County taxpayers.
Well, I'm agreeing to. I'm agreeable to listening to you. But
thank you. That's all I'm asking, and I see that we do have resolutions. I was a little concerned until I came in this morning, where I know that there has to be an appropriation established before the resolution. So I assume you're going to you're going to pass the resolution increasing the appropriations before you go through the resolution to approve the expenditure. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Thank you very much.
Just if I may, I'm sorry,
No.
John, did you want to add?
Mr. President,
Sorry, I wasn't looking at thank you.
Just a few thoughts. First of all, Brian, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I don't think we're just agreeable. I think we're grateful as you continue to flag issues for us. I think it's important because these conversations need to start somewhere. So I think it's helpful, and I'm always interested to hear if you have a concern or if there's a group that we should review. Two thoughts. Number one, I would have an intrinsic concern with letting any outside group handle our voting machines, because one can add and subtract as opposed to simply audit when you give someone access. So we would have to make sure we complied with all relevant laws and that this group was above and beyond reproach, because what if this is the way people steal elections, by having their team come in and add that wireless connection? We want to make sure we're very controlled in who accesses it. Kind of my last thought is, one of the reasons why I personally am so anxious to see these voting machines come in is so that we have an opportunity to have our Deputy Director, Jan Claire, and her team review them. We all know that her time with us is limited. I wish it weren't, but I would personally feel a lot more confident if she had the opportunity to intake the machines, to do her own internal audit before she leaves, because Deputy Director Claire oversaw the last major implementation of new voting machines. And if she comes to me and says, here's the chip, I'll know we have a problem. On the other hand, if she says, I've done a thorough review and I'm confident that these machines are what we purchased, I'm not saying that that's the only check and balance, but it would mean a lot to me to have that certification from her. So I want to make sure we have that opportunity.
No arguments at all. Agree completely. Thank you.
And Brian, if I may just comment.
Yes, sir.
Again, the DS200 that we are purchasing is, again, I can't speak to what is referenced in your document, if it's the one that has a certificate of compliance for the state of Ohio or the federal. But I do put my trust as a check and balance in our Board of Elections. I believe that people who work in the Board of Elections have both the board themselves and the employees, highest level of integrity. I've kind of lost count how many years I've known Jan and Dale. I'll just leave it at that. But it's been a good long run.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's just when this was sent to me and I saw the model numbers, I said, I think it is appropriate to at least bring it to the attention of the commissioners and to get your input.
And it's a fair question, subject to fair debate. Jan, did you want to add anything to the conversation? Jan Clare, Deputy Director, Board of Elections.
Ryan, you don't have to leave. Stand by my side. Stay with me because you and I have known each other a lot of years. And,
microphone,
and I respect. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, well, the audience.
Okay, all right. You have done due diligence in your research, and I respect that. And today you bring forth a document that I know nothing of that, and I think as you come forward and you say, please address this because I found this information. I'm going to speak to the DS200s that Lake County is acquiring that will have no internet, no chips, no hookup. There may indeed be another state that at one point in time attempted to wire in results. That may have been an agreement the state had. And sometimes you may find documents out there where they attempted to transmit votes. I'm talking about the DS200s that Lake County will be acquiring that meet all the standards required by the federal government, the state of Ohio, the Board of Voting Machine Examiners, and it's not just whether or not I wave my hand over this, gentlemen. This equipment has already been used and tested. There has never been transmittal of data within the state of Ohio, to my knowledge, in any way, shape, or form. And I am excited, as my last act, to help Lake County get the equipment that'll be in place for the next 15 years. The votes that were cast for the gentlemen who were elected to their position, I believe they feel the votes were valid.
I'm thrilled. I accept my.
Okay, and I stand by that, and I hope in the future you're going to be trained as a poll worker, because you have worked out at the polls and you've helped monitor from the grassroots right at the base level. So I'm hoping you're going to continue in November and work the election as a poll worker, so you are observing all the steps that take place, and that you have the confidence when you're standing out there as a bipartisan group of people overseeing the voting process that will take place, that you walk away at the end of the night and say, I trust the process, I believe in the process, and the process works.
You can count on it.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And Brian, that's an example, and let the record show, this is why I say the level of trust, competency, the performance of our Board of Elections and the staff, they're among the best in the state of Ohio. And I'm not just saying that as me, John Hammercheck. This is something recognized at a state level. So that this is why we put so much trust in our people. They are the check and the balance. So thank you, sir.